Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hello, guys, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm recording this on my computer through Zoom so that I'm able to get some video footage that I'm going to splice up through an app and try to make other content with. So if that goes well, that will be a future episode. But today's episode is inspired by something called Bizmas. It is a challenge, a daily December challenge I participated in the past few years by a very good friend of mine, Latasha James. And it is in the spirit of Vlogmas, which is when online content creators, particularly on YouTube, will film a video every day in the month of December. And the reason why this started is because ad revenue is at its highest in December, with everybody spending for the holidays and all of that great stuff. So Latasha had started this daily challenge called Bizmas. And you can go over to the Latasha James on Instagram and check that out and see the prompts. And if you want to participate them, I've done years where I've done them as regular Instagram posts. I've done years where I do it as Instagram stories. That was last year. So I think every year I've been tackling it differently, which is funny because this year I'm doing it, we think, right? We're doing at least day one as a podcast. So prompt one, day one, is your founder story. And this is something that has been on my mind, and it's probably going to be the title of this episode. And it is about the psychic who predicted social media. And this all will circle through into my story of how I got to where I am. So let me introduce myself. If this is your first time listening, my name is Nina Adio, and I am the owner of I Do Wedding Marketing, where we provide social media management specifically for wedding industry professionals. In addition to our ongoing social media services, we also provide education and value through this podcast, through presentations, through speaking events, through courses. So head over to idoweddingmarketing.com to see all of the goodies we have for you. But how did we get here today? Boy, what what a journey from just being young Nina. My dream job as a child was to be a screenplay writer or to direct music videos. There used to be a show called Making the Video. I loved that. Let me know if anyone remembers the Making the Video days. So what happened for me was I grew up with social media. AOL, that's like fifth grade for me, right? AIM was middle school. High school was MySpace, and college was when Facebook came out for college students. So social media and I are like the same age. And thus, when I was in college, social media was not a major, it was not a profession. It was not something businesses were really utilizing yet, and people weren't making careers out of it yet. And in this traditional way we see now of social media marketing, that's a known term, and it's something that practically every business has. So I went to school for communications. I said I will do, what I coursework I like. So I went to a 2-year school. I had cancer while I was in college, so this way I was able to commute for that 2-year school doing communications. And then I went to another college for the final 2 years that was close to home as well, because I was recovering, and studied speech communications and rhetorical studies. So what you'll notice is this still has nothing to do with weddings and nothing to do with marketing. So, but what I did learn was the art of language. was the art of how we speak, was the art of communication. Boy, did I learn that well. How we speak, what we say, how to kind of articulate what we want. I'm trying to find a nicer way to say manipulate. Delivery, all of these things, from performance, the performance and delivery aspect of it, to the language and writing part of it. But I did not know what I wanted to do, and that was really hard. I almost envied my friends who just knew they wanted to be teachers or knew they wanted to be police officers, and I just didn't feel that way. I knew I liked to be creative, but I didn't know what that looked like. And my friends and I loved going to psychics. We loved it. And before I was even in college, I believe it was the first year of college, we went to a Psychic Jane, and she said to me, I see you doing something. And she's looking off. I don't know that it even exists yet. She says, it's like a photojournalism. I see you doing a type of photojournalism. And it was years later, after I started doing social media, that I was like, oh my God, Psychic Jane invented social media, and she was calling it photojournalism. But how did I get there? How did I get from someone not knowing what they want to do, social media not existing, to doing social media in my own business for a living? What happened was, when I would go home from college, from my jobs that weren't social media related, that's where I would be spending my time, on social media. And as social media evolved, the way I used it evolved. So I had blogs that I would use affiliate links to make money. I started an America's Next Top Model blog that went worldwide and had tens of thousands of followers. And as social media started to become a career option, I put that on my resume. So on the resume was America's Next Top Model. Or rather, it was that blog, and I would use that blog, and I would study how to find what you want to do. And one of the books that changed my life was I Could Do Anything If Only I Knew What It Was. And that book spoke about how you need to let people know what you're looking to do. Get the confidence to say it. So I started to let people know that I was pursuing social media, and it ended up being my dad who delivered that message and spoke to a venue owner. They owned several venues, and they were looking for somebody to do administrative work and social media. And I remember in my interview, she was very interested in how I was leveraging social media. The fact that I was using an America's Next Top Model blog to sell America's Next Top Model t-shirts, that I was doing things with it beyond the conventional ads, let's say. She was very interested in that, and I ended up getting that job. And because social media was split with administration, I was learning the industry from the inside out. I'm learning cake orders, linen orders, vendor lists, everything that goes behind the scenes for the whole vendor sequence, really. And what happened was, even after I got married, I still loved the world. I started helping my friend when she needed an assistant or coverage, doing wedding planning. And of course, there was the social media aspect. And even when I decided to leave that position after a great experience and learning so much, I still found myself thinking about it. And I said, I'm going to take a job that doesn't require creativity, so I can do that job during the day. And I did that job, and I would just listen to business podcasts all day. Then I'd come home and work all night and build up what is now I Do Wedding Marketing. And that is a bit of, or really all of, my founder story of how I got here, and how really, while I was at that job, the ad budget, there wasn't an ad budget. It was, okay, do the social media. So I was learning or teaching myself organic engagement steps, because at that time, social media was so new. There really was not niche marketing. There was just Book More Brides. All of these great experts we have today, I didn't have them then. So I had to develop my own strategies, and then said to myself, I think I could duplicate this. And now that has been what I have been doing. But what's really important to note here is that to keep trying. Your passion and your career can align. You can find ways for them to overlap and to work together. And it could be that what you were meant to do hasn't really been discovered yet. I mean, let's take wedding content creators who are doing batch vertical footage on wedding days. All right. 3 years ago, vertical content did not have the same meaning it does today. There are constantly things coming and evolving that you can integrate yourself into, or that may be your passion point. So did I know this was what I was going to do? No, I didn't know anything. I just kept following the nudges, so to speak, and allowing my mind to drift and go there. I think, at least in my own experience, there can be roadblocks that we set up, not roadblocks that are set up even by other people, but just in my mind. Will I accept that I can be successful? Will I accept that I can own a business? Will I accept that I can have a career that I love? And once I kind of would just take the next 10 steps and the next 10 steps, things start to align once you make that commitment to yourself. So if you're committed to being a wedding industry professional, just keep taking the next step. Just keep taking the next step. And then what's going to happen is that things are going to happen. As soon as I decided that I was going to do this, what I did was before I even made the decision, I was toying with it, and I made a Wix website that wasn't published, and it was like a wish list of what I wanted I Do Wedding Marketing to be. And then one day I decided to go ahead and publish it, and I did. And it kind of just started from there. I would spend all night until my eyes could not stay open any longer on that Instagram, starting to build it. That was phase one, build the Instagram. I would get some leads, but then things just started happening. I ran into a wedding magazine owner, and we were able to have a great relationship and work together. You start running into people, things start happening. You get these little presents from the universe that kind of validate that you were on your path and to just keep going. And the negative chatter comes into my head all the time, every day. And what's happening is things that I couldn't imagine doing right 3 years ago, I'm doing now. But even today, I'm having struggles. And having struggles, and a year from now, I'm going to look back and say, wow, look how I tackled that, right? Your struggles are going to change, and your growing pains are going to change, but you keep growing with them, and you are going to be able to do that. And I really wanted to mention that in light of this founder journey, because it is always evolving. And that is because I think as human beings, if we're doing it right, we are always growing, learning, evolving. And so no matter how good I get, there's going to be more. And I like that. I like that. I like the learning. I like the educating. I like the improving. Right now, if you're seeing the video, you don't see it. If the audio, I'll explain to you. I have what is like my dream conference table that I made my Zoom background. And it's because I'm on Zoom a lot, and I needed something to look at that made me feel inspired and that made me feel good. And so I'm always looking for that growth. And I welcome you to do the same as we tackle this last month of the year and get ready to go into 2024 together. What I'd also like to mention, if you're listening to this live, I will be part of the Wedding Summit Series Money Edition panel on social media and pricing. So if you've been wondering how to handle pricing on your website, on your social media, and in other areas, you are going to want to get the VIP ticket to the Wedding Summit Series Money Edition. I'm going to be joined by a lot of really great people. I have that link in the show notes as well as in my bio at I Do Wedding Marketing on Instagram. So you can check that out. If you are just looking for the presentations, you can get a free ticket to that through my link. And it's a really good place to start if you are wanting to learn about taxes, wanting to learn about going full-time. Krista Vick Graham Events, who's a client of mine, she's going to be speaking on that, and it's going to be really great. And I'm just so excited because I got to be with Krista through that journey. And Krista was one of those presents I told you about. Krista was a referral from Latasha, who I mentioned, who's responsible for business. And she was one of my first clients, and it was the universe really delivering me something. It was the universe showing you can do this. And it took two people starting something new who really wanted to make something of it. Her to become a full-time planner, me to become a full-time social media manager. And together, I keep using the term universe, but I felt it brought us together to do it. And the reason why this money summit is important for this topic that I'm talking on the podcast today about is because that can be a roadblock. Just the idea that I had to pay taxes was enough to overwhelm me. Like, yeah, I don't know if I can do this. But then each step, right? I was able to take care of one thing, then the next thing. It's like, first, let's get a client. All right, I got the client. Now I'm getting the money. Okay, now let's learn, what do I do with the money? And then the resources will come. Just handle it one at a time. And like I said, this is any stage in your business because the growing pains are going to change. Thank you guys for listening, and come back again tomorrow because my intention is to tackle day 2 of business with another topic that you will hopefully find value packed. I'm Nina from I Do Wedding Marketing, and I will catch you on the next one.